first day of spring, but it's still pretty icy out here. Hello friends, we're out here on my local trails today, getting in some miles on the first day of spring. It doesn't really feel like spring yet. Today is like 35, 40 degrees, but feels pretty comfortable in the sun. This video, I just want to give a quick update on my run everyday project I've been doing for a little while now, and I'm still sticking to it. I've run every day for the past 100 days. I think it's actually 98 or 99, but I'm gonna call it 100 because it looks better in a YouTube title. It's been interesting running every day. I can't say it's made me faster, but it's definitely helping my endurance. The way I've been doing it is I've just been going 100% off of feel rather than sticking to like a structured training plan. So I'm spending a lot of time in zone 2, zone 3, not really getting up into that anaerobic heart rate, but I do think it's been helping my endurance. I feel like I can go longer and it feels a little bit easier. My joints feel pretty good. All my muscles feel pretty good. So I do think it's beneficial. I don't think it's for everybody to run every day because rest days are important. This trail is so weird. It cuts through like this dude's backyard. So I've actually waved to him a couple of times. I'm sure it's normal for him, but pretty strange. Today is also my chance to test out a couple of new watches that I received just yesterday, and they're not released yet. They're top secret. I'm wearing one under the sleeve right now. I've got one under this sleeve right now. Sorry, I can't let you know what they are, but I'm comparing them to the Garmin Forerunner 745 that I have here. The Forerunner 745 is just super accurate. Like, the GPS performance is really good. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe to the channel because those videos will be coming out in the next few days. Okay, so I have a topic for today's run. I want to talk about 5 lessons I learned during my first ultramarathon. Now, take this for what it's worth. I'm not a coach. I'm not an authority in the ultramarathon space, but I know that when I entered my first ultra, I was desperate for advice. So we're gonna call it 5 things I learned, but you know, I'm probably gonna ramble. There might be more or less than 5. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so, oh, this bridge is super cool. Love this bridge. Kind of goes over some wetlands. Okay, let's talk about my first ultra. Mine was a 50K. It had about 4,500, 5,000 feet of elevation gain. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I also want to mention that my fitness going into this 50K was pretty good, but I was only running 20 or 30 mile weeks prior to my first ultra. A lot of people ask me that question, you know, how many miles do you need to get into your first ultra? And, you know, in my opinion, if you can run a half marathon or a trail half marathon or 15 miles on trail, you're probably ready. Again, I'm not a coach. That's just my opinion. I was only doing 20 or 30 miles a week, but it was mainly on trails. So, you know, that gave me an advantage. Whoa, it gets steep here. First of all, one thing I learned along the way is that pre-hydration is super important. So make sure you get a bunch of water, a bunch of electrolytes in before you even get to the starting line. I try to keep that in mind now whenever I'm getting ready for a long run or for a long day on the trails. Whoa, icy. Also, on the topic of hydration, drink early and drink often. And maybe consider putting some calories in your water. I like to use something called Tailwind. That's a sugar / electrolyte mix. It tastes really good. I like to use the unflavored kind because it never really gets old. So I basically just add that to my water right out of the gate. I'll typically have a half a liter of plain water and a half a liter of Tailwind, and I'll just kind of swap them out depending on how I'm feeling. I'm not going to harp on nutrition and hydration too much. I'm just going to say it's important because It's so different for so many different people. I know people who cannot finish a 50K without having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The next thing I want to talk about is run your own race. I made this mistake plenty of times, not just in my first ultra, but lots of ultras. For instance, I raced at a 100-miler, and out of the gate, everyone was going so fast. And I thought, man, I must be out of shape if I can't keep up with these people. So I tried, and early on, I went too fast. I dehydrated, I got sore, I bonked, and ultimately ended up DNFing that race. I didn't finish. If you're not feeling it that day, you're gonna ruin your whole day by trying to maintain a pace that is just gonna lead to disappointment. I think that's probably the most important tip I can give someone trying to get into ultras. Something else I've learned is that if you kind of break up the race into certain milestones, it makes it a little bit more digestible. Like, if you look at a 100-mile course on a map, you're like, oh crap, I can't do that. But if you look at them in chunks, you know, aid station 1 to aid station 2, 3 to 4, or even in like 10-mile chunks where you kind of give yourself a pat on the back at mile 20, mile 30. You know, maybe you're at mile 35 and you're bonking and you don't feel good. You can tell yourself, well, only 5 more miles until mile 40. I like to go by aid stations just because they're already there. And generally there's happy people there cheering you on. And if you can keep that in mind, that, you know, maybe you're a half an hour away from a pat on the back and some ginger ale, it might get your head back in the game. Another little tip I can share from experience is setting up goals. And this might be controversial because I know a lot of people go into their first ultra with no goal. The goal is just to finish. And that can be one of your goals. But I like to set up an A goal, a B goal, and a C goal. Basically, the A goal is if I had the best day in my entire life, the best run ever, what would that look like time-wise? For instance, for a 100-mile distance, that is a sub 24-hour finish. And so the B goal is generally a finishing time that I'd be happy with. You know, not something that would be mind-blowing, but it would be in line with, you know, the trends I've seen on runs I've done, you know, average pace divided by how many miles the race is. And then the C goal is just to finish the race. At all costs, drag yourself to that finish line and still be happy with your performance. And I guess another thing to combine with that goal topic is to not put pressure on yourself to do something unrealistic. You know, your first ultra is a big step. It's a big goal to achieve. A lot of times people post on social media, on Instagram, or me on YouTube, and all these people cheer you on. And so you feel this immense amount of peer pressure that you have to finish this race. And so if you're bonking, you start to feel this pressure of all the disappointment of all these people that think you're gonna do this amazing thing. It can't be about them, it's gotta be about you, right? Honestly, sometimes I think just signing up silently and doing the thing without making a big deal about it might be the way to go. But I tell everybody, so you can't take that advice from me. Anyways, I think that might be all the tips I have for this video regarding your first ultra marathon. If you're signed up for one, you got one coming up on the calendar, post it in the comments down below. I'd love to see where you're all running, how you're feeling about your race. Are you ready? Are you training? What's the status? Let me know in the comments below. And for today's run, I told myself I would run for 1 hour on this trail that I know is kind of an out and back. Right now we're approaching the 50-minute mark at a real super casual pace because I've been talking to you guys the whole time. And at the 1 hour mark, I'm gonna turn around and we're gonna head back to my car and see what that means in distance. Well, I guess this is the end of the line for me. I'll be turning around. Extremely angry person that really doesn't want me on their property. Oh, I see, I made a mistake. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some antennas over there. And that's a place called Bald Hill. That's where I was trying to get to so I could try to get some elevation in on this rather flat run. A lot of these trails are for fishermen. People come out and fish on this lake. and they just lead to a dead end at the water, which is terrible for trail runners. So we just hit the 1 hour mark. We're at 1 hour and 10 seconds now. So I'm gonna turn around now and we're gonna head back on the same course we took in. Didn't make it to Bald Hill today. Don't know if you can see this, but I'm using the track back function on the 745. It's pretty handy for, you know, if you get lost. I'm not lost, but it's nice to know how much distance I have remaining back to my car. Go away, ice. Springtime. It's the first day of spring. Shouldn't be ice around anymore. Another busy road crossing. This happened way too often on this trail. There is no shortage of cool looking bridges on this trail. Check this one out. Alright, that about wraps it up. Just about back to the car. Got a little over 10 miles in 2 hours and 1 minute. So super chill pace today. Just really coming out to enjoy the weather and get some fresh air. My GoPro battery just died, so we're gonna have to finish this one off with my phone. Hope you enjoyed the run today. I hope you got outside today, enjoyed the weather. It's spring, can't believe it, we made it. It's almost over. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it the thumbs up and the subscribe down below. Do all the things. Make sure you comment and let me know what ultra or race you've got coming up. I'd love to hear from you. And stay tuned for the top secret watches I've been wearing today. That video will be coming out sometime next week. I'm not gonna leak anything. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it's pretty exciting. Oh yeah, I forgot one more thing. I just got back to my car and I remembered I wanted to mention that I've still got plenty of the Chase the Summit trucker hats in stock. If you wanna rep one this ultra running season at your race, check out the link in the description and I'll send one out as quick as possible. Okay, that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Bye.